Hello, Werner. Thanks for inviting me to give my 2 pence. I'm actually doing this outside for a specific reason, since this is all about lockdown. Um, I am currently standing between two farms. I live in Scotland on the west coast in one of the most beautiful areas. And I'm lucky because we have this on our doorstep. So the reason I'm mentioning this is since this is like lockdown files, what have we learned? What have we done? Our heart basically goes out to folk that don't have this, who might be stuck in the lockdown situation, but they live in a flat in a city or in the middle of a big suburb. We can walk literally 200 meters and we're in farmland and there's no one, and you can hear bird songs and sheep and people taking their dogs for a walk. So yeah, just a little bit of a sympathy note to those who don't have this possibility.
Sorry, Helmut. I just need to chip in for a moment. We need to talk about a certain transaction that happened a couple of years ago. But first, I need to be a little bit more professional and introduce the episode. My name is Helmut Watterott, and this is Finding Frequency. So let's go back to Scotland.
Werner, I met him, we were studying together, we were studying art. I was doing graphic design and he was doing, I think, fine arts, if I'm not mistaken. So that's how we got to know each other. I don't think we were like the biggest pals, but I think we got along pretty well. I also have a wee story about the dude, which is he sold me a guitar. And I'll never forget that because it's a pretty shit guitar. And he was constantly asking me if, like, you know, am I okay with the price? Am I okay with the price? I don't want to sell you something and you're not happy. I guess that has something to say about his honesty. I still have that guitar, actually. It's still in my house in South Africa, but yeah. So it's still alive. What have we learned during lockdown? So I guess this is a bit of a longer story. So we actually run a tour company in Scotland, doing whiskey tours, outlander, filming locations, castles, scenery, hiking, you name it. And unfortunately, the lockdown worldwide is slowly, well, not slowly, it's actually chasing the tourism industry worldwide, not just Scotland, completely over the edge. We are not 100% sure our company will survive. We are doing a million other things like literally virtual tours and all sorts of weird things to try and keep things going. But essentially tourism is completely and utterly at a halt. And even if they open the doors tomorrow, it will take ages before the people come back. So from a business point of view, it's pretty much cooked. And this is really important because a lot of countries rely on tourism to a huge degree to their actual GDP now, especially countries like Scotland, Britain, I would probably Alaska, Hawaii, places like that. And so this is really, really worrying, troublesome time, not just for our own financial kind of stability, but for all the tourist-related companies out there. Now, people think tourism is just a bunch of people coming over. They have a lot of reach into local businesses, restaurants, bars, providers. I mean, even just think about people who clean the laundry of hotels. These are all affected. It has far-reaching fingers. So, yeah, it's a little bit worrying. Now, there's other industries too that have issues, but we obviously concentrating on the tourism because that is our bread and butter and something we really enjoy doing. What we've learned through lockdown is that not just did we get to spend a lot more time with the kids, including getting more of an overview of what they do in school, but also helping them with their schoolwork, being able to spend more time with them, proper time, not just, around the dinner table asking how the day's been. Because during summer, when they have holidays, we tend to be on tour all the time, so we don't really have much of a summer holiday with them. So essentially, what we've learned is a lot about each other, how we actually interact. It's actually been fine, even with us all being in a house, but a smallish house. Everybody having to do 100 different things, trying to keep the business afloat, trying to keep our presence going. I like to dabble with music and recording, so I'm doing a lot with that. If anybody's interested, go to Krachtwerke. I hope Werner will put a wee plug in there for me. So when we go out on walks, there's a lot of people taking the dogs for walks. Like I said, we're lucky. We don't have to drive anywhere to go into the countryside and have a wee walk. There's tons of people walking, and everybody is super friendly. Like, if you turn back the clock 6 months, people would walk past one another and probably not say a thing. Now everybody's greeting, having a quick chat, saying, well, how's things going? Everybody's kind of lightened up a bit. Obviously, in the background, everybody's worried about the economy, maybe their jobs, the health implications to frontline workers, things like that. But overall, people are fairly positive in the majority about themselves and how things are going. Now, if that's going to be the same as this continues, I don't know, but I guess we'll see. But anyway, that is really my 2 pence. I don't think there's much else I can say. Well, maybe one more thing. Because our business is tourism mainly, we have made a lot of friends from across the world over the years. And it is amazingly lovely to see how many have come to support us with our virtual tours and online endeavors, even though they can't be here. I'll give you an example. I mean, most of the year was sold out for tours, and obviously everything is being cancelled. And for us to be able to say to them, listen, we just can't refund everybody. That's just not going to happen. The business will literally just go under, just like so many already have. I mean, we've got some huge tour companies in Scotland which have already closed doors, and that was already a couple of weeks ago. So we're quite small. For us to survive, we need cash flow, as any business does. So it's been incredible, actually, how people have rallied and said, okay, that's fine. You don't need to give a refund because we'll be back. So we'll just have an open ticket for like 2 years. So the majority of people have been incredibly understanding and helpful, and understand the implications of things happening and what to do to try and salvage the situation. More importantly, I think it also means that those people understand that this affects everyone in the same way. It's not just us, it's them too, and it's the bus driver, and it is the policeman, and it is the street sweeper and the binman, and everybody is affected by this. Anyway, so that is my 2 pence, and thank you very much.
Yeah, Helmut, that was a pretty shit guitar. I just need to know if you're still okay with the price though. If you ever have the chance, log into Facebook and track Helmut and his wife down. I'll post a link to their business in the show notes. Now, when you spend a little bit of time with them online, you start to get a whole different perspective on Scottish history, Scottish culture, and you get a definite perspective on what it means to be Scottish. Now, I think what's happening in the world currently is that we are looking at it from our own perspective. We are right, and they are wrong. The problem with that is we are unable to see the world through their eyes. And I think what I'm trying to say here is that for the world to really change, for us to understand what it means to have a knee pressed down on your neck, you really have to look at the world through their eyes. And once we have done that, perhaps we will look beyond us and them, and we'll be able to see the real wrong and right. Now that we are stuck at home and we can't move around, perhaps it's time for us to become tourists of our own neighborhoods. So challenge yourself and think about what kind of journey you can undertake. You might be surprised what you'll learn. And as always, thanks for listening.